final section that we're going to do for summer school, so at least that's exciting. We're going to talk about the distance formula today. I'm going to try to make this brief, but make sure we hit stuff that you just could be on the quizzes. So the distance formula is derived from our Pythagorean theorem, which we've already talked about. It's where in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the squares of the legs. So you remember we flipped it. It was a squared plus b squared equal to c squared, but they put the c in front. Same idea. Okay. We're going to use that same type of theorem and derive this distance formula. Okay. So I just went ahead and did this. We've already done the Pythagorean theorem. You know, you square your two numbers, and then you square root them, and you get your final answer. This would be where your, this might be definitional on the quiz. The formula is derived from the theorem. Okay, so the formula basically follows the theorem. The distance formula can be used for any distance, whereas the Pythagorean theorem is specifically for right triangles. Okay. But they are still similar, so in a sense it doesn't really matter, but again, definitional on the quiz. This is why it's derived. I wanted the distance from this point to that point. Right? You get a line. But what we can think about is happening here is what we're actually doing is making a right triangle. Because you could, in theory, you know, run to this room and then go up the hallway, right? But the shortest distance between the 2 points is a straight line. So this point here would be the point x1, y2. Okay, is basically, I think, no, sorry, I had that flipped, y1, x2. But that doesn't really matter. So you can run along and go up, or you can just make a straight line. So that's why it's a derivative. So what does that mean? If we want to know the length from here to here, say this is 2 and this is 10. Okay. Well, the distance from here to here would be 10 minus 2, or x2 minus x1. That's how we could figure out the distance. This would be a distance of 8 units, for example. Similar with our y's, it works out the same way. To go from here to here, so say we have 2 and 12. If I want to know how far it is to go from 12 to 2 or 2 to 12, I would do y2 minus y1. Okay, so this would be a distance of a whole of 10 units. But remember, so that's kind of how you get your distance. So, but at the end, you would have to do the square root. So I'm actually going to write the distance formula on here. I don't know why it wants me to write it twice. Okay, so your distance will equal, we're going to do the square root again. So hopefully you still remember to do that on your calculator. You do your x's first. So you do x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. This is a formula that comes in handy. You'll use it in advanced algebra with trig next year or so. Try to remember it. x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared, and your whole square root. Okay? And we're just going to do a practice with this, and then we'll practice more tomorrow. I don't even care about filling out the left side, so we're just going to step through this. You have your 2 points. Okay? It does help to label. They label it this way. I normally just write above, like x1, y1, just so you don't get confused while you're doing this. So x1, y1, x2, y2. There's normally a temptation. Sometimes people make the 2 and the 3 just their x's, and then these your y's. It really helps you to stay organized if you do it this way. Okay? Then I'm going to write out my distance formula, and I'm going to plug stuff in. So my x2 is labeled 7. I put a 7 in. minus 2 squared, and 15 minus 3. Writing it out helps. Take as many steps as you need. Don't try to rush through this. Now we want to simplify. 7 minus 2, well, that's 5. 15 minus 3 is 12. So now we want to do our squares. 5 squared will give me 25. 12 squared will give me 144. Okay, so you're doing all this math out, you're piecing it out. Don't try to rush things. Now we want to add these together. That would be me 169. And then I do the square root as my last step, which would give me 13. So yes, this is a little bit longer of a problem. But step through it, use this formula, plug everything in, and you should be fine. It's subtraction, which you can do, squaring, which you can do, addition, and then the square root. Okay, we'll practice this together tomorrow. Have a great day.